Hey everybody, and welcome back to The Shawning. I am currently recording this right after recording a video, so we are awake-ish and ready. This Halloween, I was like, I need to find a new slasher, and so I found Hellfest at Walmart for a whole whopping $3.47. And so I was like, well, this has to be the one to go with. Complete shot in the dark, but I'm not upset about it. So, without further ado, 2018's Hellfest by the creators of The Walking Dead. Now, I will say, as someone who prides themselves on their knowledge of slasher movies, I was pleasantly surprised with this one because I was expecting it to be completely terrible, if I'm being 100% honest. I don't know about you, but I wasn't expecting a whole lot from this movie, and I actually got a lot more than I bargained for. So, we're gonna break it up a little bit. So we're gonna talk about the characters, and then we'll just kind of move on from there. But I want to talk about the characters a little bit because I think the characters were super fun. Quick backstory just so you kind of know what's going on and we're not just rambling about people and you don't know the scenario that they're in. So essentially what it is a group of teenagers. They go to this haunted,
like a theme park?
Like a haunted theme park, like if it was at Universal, like the Halloween thing they do at Universal or whatever. Insert theme park / Halloween, and here we are. So they're at this theme park that is, you know, Halloweenified, and that's pretty much it. However, like I think what was it, a week prior or a year prior? A year prior, there was a murder at one of these events. They couldn't catch the guy because obviously it's hard to catch them because everyone looks the same and kind of blends in.
And they didn't find the body for like a week later because they thought it was a decoration until it started decomposing.
So that's pretty much it. That's where you start. You're following this group of teenagers who are at this haunted thing. Of course, the main character, whose name is Natalie, she obviously is not a fan of the scary stuff because, of course, you have to have the one character who's like, no, I don't want to go. And that's just, so that's that. That's her character. Yes, Natalie is the final girl. She's not bad. I think she's a good final girl. I mean, she's no Jamie Lee, but she does her part. I think that her reactions are a little off. I don't know. If I had somebody like hardcore stalking me like that, the way that she was throughout this film, I just feel like my reactions would have been a little different. She was really calm the whole time. Not a bad thing, it's just a little off-putting because you want to believe that these are regular teenagers. Well, I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. If I went to an amusement park and some dude started chasing after me with a mask and kept following me, I would freak out. So it's kind of hard for me to relate to her because I'm like, no, she's tripping. This is creepy and she's just acting like it's normal. Mm-hmm. Same for you?
Yeah, like when she finally starts freaking out about it and doing something about it, I would have been ahead of that about a long shot.
Well, yeah, because then she waited till the end before she was like, oh no, there's something going on. Well, then at that point, everyone else is like, well, everything's scary here. We can't do anything. So that's kind of the ongoing theme. You can't get the police involved because they're like, well, it's their job.
It's their job to scare you.
So we run into a lot of little problems like that. But besides Natalie, I think the rest of the cast is really fun. Bex, I forgot her last name. She played Aubrey in Scream, the series. I like Bex. Bex was like the go-to character for me in this film. That's the character that really, you could tell all their effort was put into this. They worked their butt off in this role.
Or like in this average group of teenagers, there's that one person who's like, isn't scared, loves scary stuff. That kind of thing with like amusement rides.
Don't know why I would like Bex. It's not like we're similar at all. And anyway, so the characters are awesome. The rest of them we're not going to talk a lot about because there's not really a lot to talk about. Oh, the best friend. I forgot her name. Was it Brooke?
Brooke.
Okay, so Natalie's best friend and Bex's best friend is like a triple best friendship.
Triangle.
Yeah. Brooke is great. I kind of almost wish Brooke was the main character instead of Natalie, just because it seemed more believable, and if anybody was going to do anything about the situation, it was going to be her. In fact, she was the only one that actually tried confronting this mysterious masked man or whatever, until, you know, things started to get a little too creepy, and she was like, "No, I'm out," because she's a smart character. But she still went out of her way to go after him first. So I give her props. I don't know, I think she was a stronger character, and she was funny.
Yeah.
She wasn't bad looking either. But, I mean, personal preference, whatever. Alright, so, now that we've pretty much talked about all the characters, what is the next category you want to move to?
Story, the uniqueness. I mean, it's very original.
Very original. Yeah, now I will say, if Eli Roth came out with a movie called Haunt, and it's similar to this, but I feel like this, Hellfest blows Haunt out of the water. I've watched Haunt. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't think you've seen it. It's, okay, if it's a watered down version of Hellfest, essentially. A little more twists in Haunt, but I don't know. I couldn't relate to the characters or anything in that one. But yes, essentially that's what you're at. You're with a group of teenagers at a haunted amusement park, and they're being stalked by this guy who you have they don't tell you anything about this guy.
They do a great job of keeping the mystery behind the guy behind the mask.
Which is definitely a Michael Myers knockoff.
Oh, yeah.
Not gonna lie. Definitely a knockoff of Michael Myers.
Standing and staring.
But they do it well. It's very unsettling, creepy, something, and it's believable. If you went to something like this is likely to happen.
And there's not a lot of slashers are cheesy about it, but they'll just make unrealistic choices and get killed. There's a lot of realistic reactions to everybody. It's very believable.
Because it's a situation where, well, yeah, you're supposed to be scared, but so no one's really thinking anything about what could go wrong. And just the idea of being in that setting, and something like this could very well happen, and you really would have no idea. Because, I mean, they even play it off really well, even with, like, the police being involved, and they're just kind of like, well, this is kind of it. I think that is a super believable reaction to something that definitely could happen. I mean, it's sad, because, I mean, there's characters in here that you don't want to die that definitely get killed, and it's not fun. Like, they're brutal. I'm not going to spoil all the kills, but I will spoil one just because I know that there's plenty of people that are squeamish about these things. Me. There is an eyeball scene, okay? It involves an eyeball.
And a hypodermic needle?
Yeah. Well, the scene itself is really uncomfortable. What is it? Essentially like just like this drug addict scene kind of a deal?
Yeah, it's like
I don't know.
They're in like a drug house.
Yeah, and so there's these, actors, playing on the ground, like they're dead or whatever. Well, fast forward, and the killer finds one of the kids in the group. I'm not going to tell you which one because that'll spoil it. And yeah, they just boop, and they show you. They show you, okay? I had to look away because I didn't think they were going to show that, and they did.
It was very creative.
It was very creative.
I like creative.
And there's one more creative kill in here that we really, really liked, but we're not going to tell you because you'll probably call it once you see where it's going. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to tell you that one because this movie came out in 2018, so you still have time to watch it if you haven't seen it, and I don't want to be the one to spoil this movie for you. Now, the later this video gets, I will tell you before I spoil something because I have to spoil it because it's amazing. But I'll tell you before I do that. So, as far as like the kills go, there's not a ton of kills. It is paced very much like a slasher. 15-20 minutes, you're getting a kill. And they stick to that the whole time. It's not a bad template to stick with. Personally, I think they should have made the killer a tad more brutal. They did great with the stalking and the suspense of it. Should have made him a tad more dangerous. Just, one or two more kills in there, I think would have put him, I don't even know what the killer's name is.
They don't even have him named.
I don't even think he's named. which is even more perfect. Now, although this movie is perfect in almost every way as far as a slasher goes, there's just a couple things that I think are kind of missing. Okay, first off, if you're gonna have a good slasher, you have to have a good score. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember anything about this score or music in this movie at all. So that was kind of a, you know, you can't have this creepy guy stalking people without some creepy background music that's fitting. And I just think there was so much commotion going on throughout the movie that they didn't focus on that at all. I think overall it looked good. Yeah. I mean, it looked great.
The ambiance was fine. It was
perfect atmosphere too. I will say the atmosphere was great. I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think they did too hot on the music part. I will say though, back on the atmosphere, there was a lot of scenes in here that were really creepy. Just the atmosphere part. For example, there's this one room where it's all black, but all you see are these like white faces. Do you remember what scene I'm talking about?
The masks.
Yeah, these white masks. It's super, super creepy because it's just a bunch of people standing there in these, you know, white masks in this all black room. So there's certain scenes like that where, you know, visually they're stunning, but you're just missing that other part to really complete the whole picture. That was the only really big thing that was missing for me, is there was no score really. I don't know, unless you picked up on something. No. I didn't really pick up on anything.
No, you picked up on a nice cameo though.
Oh yes. So there is a wonderful cameo, okay, of Mr. Tony Todd, but you actually hear him before you see him. So it was before I got there, I was, you know, I heard the voice and I couldn't quite put it together, but I had my suspicions. And yeah, so there is a awesome cameo from Tony Todd, who I love severely. Check out all the Candyman videos that I've done. There's plenty. I think there's what? 3. There's 2. I did one on the original film, and then I did another video on the sequels. And I have yet to do one on the new film because I'm waiting to buy it because I didn't get to go see it in the theaters. So soon you'll see that. But anyway, even though Candyman is a wonderful slasher, this one is good too. I think that it definitely deserves more praise than it gets. But I don't know, that ending. I think the ending was probably one of the best endings in a horror movie I've seen in a long time.
You had the classic horror ending where there could be a sequel, and I'm surprised it didn't have a sequel.
I'm glad it didn't though, but I kind of want one.
Exactly. Like, it's good as it is, but if they made a sequel, that's cool too.
Well, because I mean the end, well, so okay, spoiler, if you have not seen the movie, I'm going to ruin the ending for you. So I would definitely pause it or turn it off right now, because in the next 3, 2, 1, I'm going to spoil it. So the ending, you know, they never catch this masked killer, okay?
It's a close call, but he gets away.
But he gets away, of course. But this is the part that gets me. So, you know, you see him back in his, well, at first you think it's like a lair, you know? Like his little slasher secret lair. No. He opens this little cabinet. You can see there's other masks from different events that he's been at, and like trophies of the people that he's, you know. Well, then he closes it, and all you hear is this little girl go, "Daddy!" And it's just, he turns around, he hugs his daughter, and it closes the movie. And that is terrifying. Yep. Because that's real.
That's the only background you get to this guy.
That's it. No name. You don't even see his face out of the mask. That's the only thing you hear about him. And personally, that was the perfect way to end it. They didn't overly humanize him, okay? And then when they did, they waited till the very end, and they still didn't even do that much damage to the character. If anything, they just made it way creepier. Like, you know, I liked this movie, and then the ending made me love this movie. Because I think that they just summed up the movie so well. You can make a sequel, or you can choose not to. And personally, if they do make a sequel and it's not the same people that made the first one, I don't know if I'm going to want to watch it, because I don't think it's going to be as good. And I mean, overall, I don't know if a lot of people really, you know, were crazy about this movie. But it's been 2 years, so I definitely think you should. Oh wait, it has not been 2 years. It's been 3 years, so it's definitely time for a rewatch if you have not watched Hellfest or it's been a minute, because it's going on my Halloween watch list for sure.
Oh yeah.
So that is just our thoughts and reactions to our first time watch of Hellfest 2018. Drop in the comments the movies you would like me to talk about. Also, if you want to buy some art, you can always go check out my Etsy store, CryptkeepersCorner. That will be in my bio. And even if you don't want to buy any, you can always favorite the shop so that way other people can find art that they might want to buy. So, that being said, stay safe. Drop some recommendations in the comments for some movies you'd like me to review or talk about or bash, whatever. And yeah, just stay safe and keep it creepy. And I'll see you next time.